Hello and welcome back to another episode of Power Rangers lore. Today we'll be discussing none other than King Mondo, ruler of the Machine Empire and possibly even the creator. Let's get down to it. King Mondo, the ruthless entity known simply as the Machine King, also known as the ruler of the Machine Empire. He is the main antagonist of Power Rangers Zeo and was the major threat throughout the entire series. He was the smartest of them all and also was a great father figure and a family man, as you could be surprised by this. When most villains in Power Rangers, you don't see them as family men, you see them as pure evil individuals who either are using people or lying to someone in some fashion. You don't see them as family members. Well, this one does have a family. His queen is known as Queen Machina, the wife, and his beloved wife, in truth, who supports him through all things, even his world conquest and enslaving of others. There's also Prince Sprocket, his youngest son, who has all of King Mondo's adoration, and he utterly adores his son no matter what. Even though he has many flaws, he goes, "You can work past those, son. I believe you. Believe in you." He also has another son, his oldest son, known simply as Prince Gasket. Now, Prince Gasket is not seen through the series until later on, and he was exiled and lost his father's favor after he fell in love with and married, well, his rival's daughter. Now, she is known as Princess Archenia of the Automaton Dominion, which sounds very similar to the Machine Empire, but it's completely different. Don't get those confused, guys, even though they have the exact same point of reference. Automaton and Machine are literally the same thing. Dominion and Empire, same thing. But whatever, we're not going to get too involved with that. We don't know why there's a split between those two, or why King Aradon, the father of Princess Archina, why they're a rivalry at all. There's no explain. He's only ever mentioned King Aradon once in a passing reference, and that's kind of it. We don't know why, but he is mentioned as a major rival, but maybe it's just over Machines itself. But it doesn't really matter. We all know that King Mondo is the main antagonist of this entire series, and the Machine Empire is a major threat. Now, why are they the major threat? Well, we came out of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with Lord Zed and Rita having defeated the Power Rangers, had their powers taken away from them, and they blew up the power chamber. Yes, that's how devastating of a win they had. They were about to win everything when suddenly, saving the Power Rangers and sending the bad guys running, King Mondo arrives in the galaxy on the moon to take over from there. And he sends them packing. He sends Lord Zed and Rita packing back to Master Vile in Serpentera, fleeing for their lives essentially, and going off to deal with the fact that they can't deal with the pure evil that is King Mondo, or as they call him, the true ruler, the conqueror of galaxies, of universes, and all that type of jazz. Now, King Mondo arrives on Earth and immediately sends his COG army out to basically conquer it, when they are rebuffed and repelled back by none other than the new Zeo Rangers, who have, essentially taken in the Zeo Crystal to gain their powers and access the Morphin Grid once again. They are able to defeat the first wave of COG armies, and this makes King Mondo go interesting. Very, very interesting. My force has been pushed back. This has been the first real challenge I've had in a very, very long time. I think I'm going to enjoy this. He's essentially having a midlife crisis, guys. He wants something more than just a rather quick little victory. He wants something more, something he can tell stories about. However, this becomes more of a issue because instead of sending his entire army at one time and conquering the planet, he sends the Monster of the Week to do, whatever it can and defeat the Rangers. Now, he also has other plans, but they always get thwarted or go awry in some fashion. In one matter, they almost defeat the Rangers because he has a plan to cause the Rangers to split up their forces and go to two separate areas and pick them off one by one. However, that's when the Gold Ranger arrives and basically saves the Rangers, as well as defeating and thwarting every plan that, King Mondo has from that point on. Growing increasingly frustrated, King Mondo decides he's going to steal the Gold Ranger's powers for himself, and thus pushing over the last remnants of the resistance on Earth, and so he can take it over once and for all and continue on to his next thing. Because he's like, this is a good enough story. I'll get to defeat these Rangers once and for all. Now, tired of losing over and over again, he decides he's going to unearth his ultimate weapon. Now, this weapon is known simply as the Damocles sword, and it was buried on Earth long ago by King Mondo after he had used it in some unknown altercation and resulted in his use of it his own destruction. After he was rebuilt, he hid it and left on Earth so he wouldn't be tempted again. Interesting that the place where he buried the sword is exactly where he ended up being in fighting his greatest adversaries. Interesting. Now, believing that he knows exactly what he's doing this time with the sword and ignoring his wife's advice, which you should never do sometimes, depending on the situation, he basically unearths the Damocles sword. I'm going to call it blade, but same thing. And he basically goes on a rampage. He grows giant immediately and attempts to fight, well, the Rangers themselves. Now, at first, Rocky's the only one to challenge him out by himself, and Rocky gets his butt kicked immediately because he's nowhere near as capable against that mighty sword, the Damocles sword. However, the Rangers all get back together and combine all their Super Zeo Zords into the Super Zeo Megazord, and after receiving a final component from Billy, they face off against King Mondo once and for all. Now, during the entire fight, Mondo's going, "You can't beat this sword. It's impossible. Last time this sword's so powerful it blew me up. Now it's gonna blow you up, boys." He didn't speak like that, but you can get the hints there. However, he quickly realizes that they're not gonna "Oh, we can't defeat you wielding the sword, so we're just gonna break the sword." Yeah, they break the sword with the Megazord's twin sabers before Mondo destroys their own sword. So basically, just quickly do a reversal there. As Machina thought it would happen. She's like, "Yeah, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. It's going to betray you, whatever. You buried it in the dirt, whatever." Despite this, she assured Sprocket that Mondo would return more powerful than ever, because he's a machine. He can always be rebuilt. And while that was the idea, it didn't exactly happen that way. At least not immediately. Now, there's a bit of a power struggle between who's going to rule next. We know that it's going to be Prince Sprocket, as far as we're aware, but this new contender, known simply as Louis Kaboom, I like to call him Louis Kaboom, he arrives and tries to woo Machina, but eventually just throws her and Prince Sprocket in jail and declares that he's going to rule without their help and doesn't need them anymore. Now, that's all a scheme when it's revealed that Lord Zed and Rita built Louis Kaboom, and they were basically going to take over the entire Machine Empire with him as the figurehead puppet. They were controlling it. However, things go awry once more when King Mondo's first son, Prince Gasket, soon arrives with his wife, and they basically destroy Kaboom and take over for themselves, releasing his mother as well as his little brother, and then kind of rule for a bit until they are forced away when King Mondo returns to the throne only after chasing away his son and, well, his unfortunate bride. Now, not liking that he has to fight the Rangers as well as Lord Zed and Rita, who have returned to the moon to overthrow them, he decides he's going to go to basically Lord Zed and Rita make a challenge them. And they sent their own monster and he sent his, but then he goes, what if we formed an alliance, guys? We'll form a temporary alliance. But Rita and Zed go, "Nah, we're not going to work with you. You kicked us out of our homes. Why would we work with you? There's no thing for us to gain." And he goes, "Fine, whatever." But he merges the two monsters, but this plan fails once again after another failed attempt to steal the Gold Ranger's powers again, because it is slowly leaving, well, Jason once and for all, because it's slowly killing him. It has to go back to its original owner. They think they can fully take it out. However, Jason is saved by none other than Rita and Zed, who basically go after the forces of the Machine Empire. However, they tricked Machine Empire into thinking that they're on their side first by double-crossing them. They give them a gift. They go, "Here you go, since we work together, here's this gift. I understand we had some issues in the past, but here, take this." Turns out the gift was a bomb. Yes, the gift was a bomb, guys. And It blew up Mondo and his entire family to bits. However, Mondo's head was still functioning, and his head swore vengeance. Now, we don't see him throughout all of Turbo. However, he does make a return in space, along with his wife and son, as well as Clank, and Oribos, who are fully rebuilt by unknown forces, probably by his cogs or some fashion, or his other generals that were out there in the world, in the universe, I'm sorry. Now, he attends Dark Spectre's conference on the Chimerian planet, along with his wife, and was present when the mysterious Red Ranger, known as Andros, attacks the Alliance and escapes, learning their plans and the like. He then eventually leads his own forces to invade KO-35 and the Phantom Ranger's home planet. Now, when the forces of there's just been the big fights going down and the like, and it seems to be going really good. Machine Empire, they're winning. They've captured the Phantom Ranger. They've slammed him down on the ground. They're about to do their final blow. However, that is when the Zordon's energy wave strikes and reduces King Mondo and his wife to sand, destroying them forever, once and for all. However, that does not mean the remnants of the Machine Empire are not still out there. General Vengex, who is the now leader of the remnants of the Machine Empire, is still out there looking up to his former king as a living machine god over all of creation. Before his destruction, he said that he failed his king years after the Machine Empire, but he would basically rebuild the Machine Empire better than before. Now, that's very interesting. And he was also thought to be revived again by Robo-Roxy. They go, hey, we could bring him back, or Lord Zed, but I don't know. They both betray each other a lot, and Lord Zed, we can't bring him back because, well, he just blows up everybody who works against him or with him. It doesn't matter. Now, why am I doing this video? This is an old video. It has nothing really to do with what's currently going on. Well, I have a theory, guys. I have a big theory that we are going to see King Mondo's likeness once more in the, well, anniversary series of Power Rangers, 30 years. I believe it's not Rita Repulsa or Robo Rita. I believe it's a member of the Machine Empire is back involved again. I don't know if it's King Mondo. It could be, he could be back, but I think he's returned to dust and he's finally dead. But Prince Sprocket hasn't been seen dead at all, or Prince Gasket. So we could see them in the future having to do with taking out the Rangers. Now, it's just my opinion out there, guys. I could be wrong, but I'm 90% certain that the Machine Empire is behind the events of none other than, well, the 30th anniversary special on April 19th. We have 14 days to figure this out, so hopefully I'll be right or wrong, but if I'm right, I called it. Thank you guys for enjoying this video of King Mondo, the ruler of Machine Empire, Machine King himself. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to put any comments, likes down below. Let me know what you guys think about it or what you guys hate about it. Let me know, guys. Have a good one. May the power protect you always.